results at Stuart are focused on creating more opportunities for students to own their learning and behavior, and we do this all through goal setting, reflections, studying our results, and making decisions based on those results. We are doing this to create a culture where learning and achievement are just as important as having fun in our middle school experience.
At the beginning of class, the teacher goes over the learning target. This allows me to go over any part of the target that is confusing or unclear. This is what we refer to as unpacking the target. Now I can focus on what we will be learning about that day. It guides us of what we are going to be learning about and how we're going to get there.
All right, we have several different kinds of targets that have been going around, right? We have our unit goal, we have our daily targets, we have our weekly targets. So I just want to make sure you guys are seeing how these things are connecting together. Okay, so who can remind me, what is our unit goal? Because you're going to need to talk about it in your warm-up today. So what is our unit goal and where can we find it if you don't know what it is, if you can't remember what it is? Sarah?
It's over there by the plan.
Okay, by the plan. So I can evaluate how tectonic plate movements cause earthquakes, volcanic activity, mid-ocean ridges, and mountain formations. Right, at the end of the unit, that's what we need to be able to say you can do, right? You can evaluate these different movements and figure out how these things get created. So our learning target today, I can explain how the layers of the earth connect to tectonic plate movement. How does this target get you closer to your unit goal?
I use success criteria as checkpoints during the lesson to help me know that I am being successful in meeting the learning target. At the end of the lesson, I can also go back and check if I have completed the learning target and the learning I needed to do.
Today we're going to do our learning target. Who'd like to read it for us, please? Go ahead, stand up. Yes, sir.
I can analyze the transfer of energy to describe the Earth's convection currents.
Somebody put that in their own words? Like, that's kind of big. What does that mean? What are we supposed to do? Try it. Go ahead, stand up.
We're going to analyze the transfer of energy and describe their convection currents.
So we have to analyze Earth's energy and how that creates convection currents.
Yeah.
Make sense? What's our success criteria? Anybody want to share that with us? Go ahead, stand up.
Create an informational model of the Earth's layers. Compare and contrast the Earth's layers. Apply the concept of convection current with the Earth's layers. Analyze the interaction of the Earth's layers.
So number one, we're supposed to do what to our model? What's the big word?
We're supposed to put information on our photo roll that we made yesterday.
Sometimes they collect an exit ticket or an assignment to grade it, but other times they might ask us to give them a thumbs up to make sure everything makes sense. Sometimes during work time or private reasoning time, my teacher will stop to ask me how I'm doing and coach me through anything I'm struggling with. My teachers are also giving me time to look at my own data from these checks for understanding and to see where my strengths and weaknesses are, so I know that how to set my goals for myself and to move forward. When my teacher checks in with me, it makes me feel appreciated. When my teacher pulls us into small groups and it helps me understand the different problems other people are facing, so I know how to help them in the future.
Just real quick, as you're doing this, how many people feel confident? Give me a thumbs up if you feel confident that you have some sort of a definition for the word reflect. Give me a thumbs up for that. If you feel like I don't know what reflect is, give me a thumbs down. And if you're like, I think so, but I don't know if it's right, put it in the middle. Let me get everybody's thumbs so that I can get some information. Keegan, how you doing? Yes? Alright, thank you guys. You guys have about another minute.
Progress monitoring gives both teachers and students information that can help us learn more and faster. It helps our teachers make the best decisions possible for us. We're able to set goals, study our results, and act upon our findings for next time. Through progress monitoring, we don't have to wait until the end of the unit to see our results. We are getting timely feedback on our performance and are able to adjust our actions based on those results. Progress monitoring looks different in all classrooms, but our goal is always the same, for students and teachers to be partners in the learning process.
So you guys just got back your exit ticket from yesterday. You're comparing it to your goal sheet. You have a goal sheet where you set a goal. This target isn't the target that's going to measure if you met your goal. This is one small step along the way where you're going to get an opportunity to check in and see if you're on track to meet the goal, if your learning path is going where you want it to. So look at that target. In the study box, underneath the yes, no, don't say yes, no yet because we haven't checked to see if we met the goal yet. This is just a check-in. Underneath the yes, no, write down what your score was and if you're on track right now.
During classes, teachers will sometimes put student work under the dot camera to show us different strategies that our peers use to solve problems and complete their assignments. Looking at the way other students do things can help us give us ideas and help us through stuck points and see a problem from a different point of view. Sometimes our work is put in the hallways. We can see what excellent work looks like and make the goal more clear. In some cases, we do gallery walks where we go from table to table looking at other people's work and how they solve the problem. All these ways of seeing what other students are doing helps us deepen our understanding and makes our learning last longer.
Is A or the drawing on B similar figures to our initial figure? So is A or B more similar in why? Turn and talk with your shoulder partner of why that is. Great conversation. Okay, Tatiana, do you think it's A or do you think it's B?
I said it was B.
Okay, why?
I said they are similar by the small shape being 3x4 and the big shape being 6x8. That's what I said.
Okay. Sid.
I said that B was similar because the first A is congruent because it's the same exact shape and it's the same exact amount of squares. It's just flipped.
Okay. I love the vocab that I'm hearing.
At Stuart, feedback comes in many different forms. Teachers give student feedback on their progress, students give each other feedback on their progress, and most importantly, students give themselves feedback on their progress. Feedback isn't just given on the final product. Feedback is ongoing during all steps of the learning process. The purpose of feedback is not to praise or condemn, but rather to help students become aware of where they are in relation to the lesson and or unit goals.
So you all had a subject, right? Let's underline that word, subject. Now you guys are close when you say that the theme is the subject. But remember, what's another word that means the same as theme?
What is formative assessment? Formative assessments are progress checks. Are we on track? Did we hit the target for the day? Where do we need to go next? Who needs a little review? How can we fill in the gaps we still have? It is a way to see what each student needs, based on where each student is that very moment in time. Formative assessments come in multitude of ways: quizzes, exit tickets, conferring/conferencing, one-on-one or in small groups, observing during work time, and asking questions. Teachers then use this information to plan their next instructional steps.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we've been working on vocabulary for a couple of days. It's the very beginning of our unit, but I need to know what vocabulary is still confusing, what vocabulary you guys already have down, so that way I know how much more practice we need, or if some of us need a little practice and the rest of us are ready to move on. So we're going to do a quick little assessment. It's your ticket out the door. So I'm going to hand you an index card. This is what I need you to do. There are 4 words. These are 4 of the biggest words that we're going to be studying for the rest of this week. I need you to pick 2. The 2 that you feel the most comfortable with. And I need you to give me your definition in your own words and a 1-word synonym. And that's going to show me how well you understand that word.
The CER format helps students to formulate an argument that will be well supported. Students state claims, evidence, and reasoning across all contexts and grade levels at Stuart Middle School. It is important for students to be able to back up their point of view and evidence and provide reasoning for doing so. The first part of the CER is the claim. The claim is the student's answer to a question and thesis of an argument, the hypothesis of a science experiment, the reaction to do work of art and opinion regarding the text.
The second component of a CER is evidence. The writer uses content-specific data and multiple sources of evidence to support the claim. Whenever possible, we ask the students to use direct quotations from the text to support the claim. The final component of a CER is reasoning. Reasoning is explaining how the evidence supports the claim and defines the student's thinking.
So remember, when you do your CER, you're going to have your claim, which is going to be why a traveler would go to your chosen country. Is it business? Is it vacation? Is it education? Then you are going to use at least 2 pieces of evidence that you will take either from the atlas, the information you looked up online yesterday. Should you have at least 1 direct quote from the text? Yes. All right? And then when you look at that evidence, you have to explain, which is your reasoning, why that evidence would prove that someone should visit your country for your chosen purpose.
When students are in science class, the goal becomes to communicate and think like a scientist. So part of this experience includes that we can think critically and analyze different sources such as graphs, tables, articles, and many other sources.
Students can give responses that are supported with evidence, which greatly strengthens and validates their answers.
Scientific literacy helps us better understand the world.
In social studies, literacy is foundational, but we get to take it to the next level because historians have to evaluate primary and secondary sources in order to find out what really happened in the past. In addition, geographers get great information from maps and charts and graphs, but those things have to be analyzed carefully in order to be fully understood. So literacy in social studies gets to be taken to another level because of the multiple formats that literacy takes in a social studies classroom.
We believe teaching reading and writing together is essential because it promotes higher level thinking. When students write about something they have read, they engage in synthesis, analysis, and evaluation in order to write effectively about what they have read.
This provides students the opportunities to make connections regarding the text and then go back to the text and find evidence of both correct or incorrect thinking.
In order to focus on content, math teachers address all 3 legs of mathematical learning, the 3-legged stool. So conceptual understanding, computational fluency, problem solving. Conceptual understanding is knowing more than the facts and methods. Students need to transfer their knowledge into new situations and apply new content. We like to think of conceptual understanding as having the ability to take something that they learned in class and apply it to something different. Students demonstrate conceptual understanding through their justifications, through generalizations, and then a lot of class discussion.
Computational fluency is shown through efficiency, accuracy, and flexibility. A student who exhibits computational fluency will have fewer roadblocks along their learning path. Students demonstrate computational fluency through math facts, practice problems, operations of rational numbers, and exponents. Problem solving means students are working on a problem where they don't know the method going in. For students to find a solution, they have to draw upon what they've already learned. Recalling this learning and using it to solve problems helps students develop new mathematical understandings. Obviously, solving problems is a goal of learning mathematics, but it's also a method of doing so.
Stuart has a highly academic and engaging exploratory program. All exploratory classes focus on teaching students to take ownership of their learning and developing 21st century skills such as self-direction, collaboration, and problem solving. Many of the exploratory classes have taken on other transferable skills such as disciplinary literacy. In social studies, science, and exploratory classes, students are taught the differences among various texts and are encouraged to read, write, and think like a scientist or historian.